Hello, everyone. The night I almost quit driving. As you all know by now, or if you do not know, I did over 2,000 rides for the Rideshare apps, and I had wonderful experiences. Now that I continue to reflect on some of my experiences. Overall, it was good. No one ever put my life in danger. I never had any person get into my vehicle, and I thought, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to get this individual out of my vehicle? Now, there were times that I made some assumptions about folks, mainly when they asked to sit in my front seat. I know. I try not to be judgmental. But in that moment, I said no. And as I would drop the client, the client would get in the back, take them to where they need to be. And I would think, I wouldn't want to get in the front seat with a driver that I don't know. That's just me. Moving on, I had some commutes that they weren't the best, not necessarily due to the client, more so due to Mother Nature. But all in all, it was positive. However, the night that I almost quit driving was because I I was in a lose lose situation. Those that do rideshare, you all can tell me what you think if you've experienced this. And maybe if you are an individual that takes rideshare and you're just a client, you can give me your opinion on this. So the way that it went, I was driving one evening in Fort Worth, and it was late night, going on to the next day. Driving and driving, and canceled a ride because the person was taking like too long. They went over the 5 minutes. So I go into the app to get my next ride, and the app is not allowing me to pick up another ride. So common sense. Anyone that deals with rideshare knows you go check your email. So I check my email. I see I get a notification from this ride app, and they're saying that I'm unable to drive due to a complaint from a customer. Right, and in that moment, I was agitated. I'm just being honest. I was agitated, and the reason I was agitated because there were so many unknowns. One, I didn't know specifically what client made a negative comment about me, and then two, the rise that I had, I didn't get that energy. I didn't get that energy. From reflecting and reminiscing, everything seemed well. So I called the Rideshare app because I was to the point within the app where I can actually talk to people. So I was able to get it disputed. But it's just, I understand that he who owns the business makes the rules. I get that. What I did not understand and what almost led me to quitting that night is that it always seemed one sided. Like it should, my thing is the customer always right? Hell no, because I'm not always right. You're not always right. No one is always right. I mean, I get the marketing concept. I get it all. It all makes sense. However, that is highly inaccurate. Nonetheless, I would have liked to know, and I'm sure those out there that had once been in my situation or those in the future that will be in my situation. I would like to be able to add context because if that's the case, any client could just call up and say, well, hey, Charles didn't let me sit in the front seat. Someone leave him a horrible comment. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Yes, something that minute. Um, And I learned that the complaint was that I was playing a podcast that was unpleasing to the ear. Now, mind you, this podcast was just a sports podcast. So how is that unpleasing to the ear? It's just sports, you know. And if the client would have communicated to me, then I would have put it on sports. And yes, you may be thinking, or one could be thinking, well, did you ask the client what they wanted to listen to? Yes, I always ask. Every time a client hopped in my vehicle, I spoke, I said, good morning, good evening, good day. Hey, what would you like to listen to? And on this evening, I think I had like 4 or 5 rides. Each individual will say, hey, it doesn't matter. You can play anything you want, anything you want. So I didn't want to play certain music because I knew it had cussing in it and it would make one feel uncomfortable. Even if they love cussing more than the sailor, it would make them feel uncomfortable. So I just went with sports. Sports was always the safe route. At least I thought it was. So I just think if I was able to add more context that not just me, but a lot of rideshare drivers wouldn't have to deal with that situation of just getting kicked out of the app because of a comment. It don't matter if it's one comment or three comment. I think the rider should be able to dispute that. It should be able to have clarity. It shouldn't be so vague because the inverse, we can't do anything. We get a client in the back seat of our vehicles. I don't know how it is now. You all could tell me out there that currently does it now. You get one in your vehicle and they acting crazy. One, most of the rideshare apps you cannot carry a weapon on you of any sort, and you can kick them out the car, but depending on how you kick them out and where you kick them out, they probably can go leave a comment, and then you can get banned from the app. It's just very, very nerve wracking. Like it's like a flaw in the system, just almost like how similar to um, the old movie, The Matrix. It's just a flaw in there. It's like, and this is just me stating the facts. I'm not complaining. Just stating the facts. And both parties, you all can respond and tell me what you think. Those that do ride share in any capacity, just let me know. Because the individual that is doing ride share, yes, they're choosing to use their own vehicle. Yes, but they're also following the guidelines. So it should be open lines of communication. We can't be out here talking about communication is essential and we need to communicate, but the businesses aren't adding the opportunity for clear communication between both parties. Again, I think my frustration would have been none or limited if I would have knew specifically who complained, what the complaint was, and if there was proof. Now again, I haven't done any rides in a long, long time, and but that's the policy. And why have I not done rideshare and why I probably won't do it again? One, I enjoyed being in service of people. I just want to say that I had great experiences, um, but I had a propensity for speeding. Not often, but I got caught up once. Got a ticket. I was in Euless, which is near Irving. Anyone that knows about the DFW know where that is. On a Sunday morning, I got pulled over, and I believe it's in the policy about getting tickets. I got hemmed up on the app. I was deemed kicked off, and I believe it's Uber. Uber allows you to like take a course, and you got to pay X amount of dollars. And I was just like, I made a lot of money, the byproduct from helping a lot of people, and I was just like, I'm done with it. There's other ways out there to make income, and I'm not knocking it. If anyone wants to get into rideshare, I'm an advocate. You meet good people. You understand that your life is going good. You hear some people's lives that sound like horror movies that like Stephen King could have wrote it. It just sounds crazy. But you have a lot of positivity too. But for me to come back to doing rideshare, one, they would have to change that policy. They would have to set it up to where the customer is not one always right, and that the driver is able to fend for him or herself. They again understand the context of why what scenario transpired. And shout out to the individuals that have the cameras in their car where they could record everything. Because I do not believe every customer is right. Even if I was a business owner, I would never come up with a slogan that every customer is right, because every customer is not right. More so, having those cameras in the car is proof of any shenanigans, excuse my language, or any bullshit that a customer says transpired and it didn't transpire. It just covered everyone's everyone's side, the customer and the client. Now, accountability is big for me, so I would say I should have did a little more research, and I also should have invested in a camera for my dashboard so I can see people getting in. You know, it could record all the conversations. So that was my fault. And if I would have planned better, and if hindsight is 2020, if I can go back and do it, I would have did it that way. And that way, that would have avoided all of that. The client said whatever random negative comment about me to have it to where I can no longer um, take rides. You know, those of you out there that have rideshare as a business, I feel for you if it ever happens to you. You're doing your thing. Don't matter your race, don't matter your gender, don't matter the time of day, what part of the globe you on, that you just doing what you're supposed to be doing. And one makes a client makes a call to the rideshare app and they suspend you or tell you can't drive. But you all are out there, the drivers that is, you all, y'all, there's solutions out there, like I said, having certain solutions like the camcorder, not the camcorder, excuse me, the recorder for the dashboard where it can see over everything and it can't be no funny business, no discrepancies about how you drove or what music you played or you didn't stop here or you drove too fast, all of that good stuff. And this also helps the driver in case you get an individual in your vehicle that is intoxicated, throws up, um, acts like a Romulan, um, just anything that makes it tough for the driver to do what he or she set out to do. Like, share, and subscribe. I just wanted to bring you all this video today. You all continue to have a successful day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.